Based on a manga developed from a light novel adapted from a novel which is also adapted through a series of novels, the anime adaptation of the Apothecary Diaries is one that will leave you feeling dumber than you already thought you were and questioning your own sexuality. He has to be a woman. Please God. Now before going into this anime, you're probably wondering what is an apothecary. Of course I already know this. I wasn't one of those everyday normies who had to look up the word, later finding out that it's actually a profession that involves producing and dealing in medicine and drugs. And again, I must emphasize that I already knew this. I'm merely informing you about this particular role, and also informing you that it's pronounced apothecary and not apothecary, which is how some idiots are saying it. Again, this isn't me. In conclusion, it's basically a pharmacist. The show follows a 17-year-old named Maomao, the daughter of an apothecary, though she too is quite knowledgeable in the subject of medicine. She is kidnapped and sold to the Imperial Palace, which appears to be inspired by the Forbidden City in ancient China. I should stress that this show is not set in China, it's a fictional world in a country that is clearly meant to be inspired by ancient Chinese culture. It is in these confined walls of the rear palace that Maomao's curiosity leads her to curing the Emperor's children of their illness by tapping into her unorthodox experience in medicine. Her actions alert the attention of a respectable and highly popular eunuch called Master Jinshi, who offers her aid and a convenient source of political intelligence in uncovering the scandalous mysteries behind the forbidding walls of the Imperial Palace. And believe me when I say there is a lot of serious criminal activity threatening the royal court in every story arc. Each episode turns into a meticulously crafted crime scene investigation. They should really just change the name to CSI Forbidden City. The Apothecary Diaries features aspects of romance, politics, drama, comedy, and even detective work. Not only is Maomao highly gifted in the world of medicine, she is a great investigator, often channeling the spirit of Sherlock Holmes to solve a mystery. Maomao is an incredibly unique main character to follow. She is highly intellectual, and her odd personality combined with her obsessive curiosity about herbs and illnesses makes her a surprisingly charming and likable character. Maomao's idiosyncrasies aren't without its deficiencies. She is borderline insane. She has white bandages on her left arm which conceals scars inflicted through her experiments with poisons and herbs. The consequences have thus resulted in her being immune to various poisons, which means when she's taste testing the concubine's food, it's like being in heaven when her tongue is stung by the toxin of a pufferfish. These scenes are one of the highlights of the anime. The absurd nature of a girl being excited to try poison while everyone else is frightened for their life showed how the comedy is completely reliant on Maomao's quirkiness. She remains true to herself, not averting to the mask that society constantly attempts to conceal her with. Her eccentricity in the field of medicine makes the subject far more fascinating from an audience's perspective. Although I must admit there are many topics that do go over my head because of how fast the information is being conveyed. The episodes in which poison are involved are the most engaging because of the jeopardy and comedy involved. But I do think the main reason that the Apothecary Diaries succeeds is because it has a main character like Maomao. For a leading female character to be weird, introverted, and highly intellectual is something you would usually associate with a leading male character. This anime subverts these standards and excels. It also shows how that being different to everyone else maybe isn't such a bad thing. She's not bothered about what people think in regards to social status and what they think of her. She finds happiness in her experimenting with herbs, and that's exactly what she does. Her mad genius persona makes her a standout character in a world where everyone is constantly serious and strained in comparison. The Apothecary Diaries is like a tantalizing blend of your favorite genres, all stirred together in the pot of ancient China's Tang dynasty. Picture this: the Forbidden City, with its ornate halls and secretive corridors, becomes the backdrop for a riveting tale of mystery and power play. In this world, political intrigue isn't just a side dish, it's the main course. The court is a labyrinth of schemes and secrets, where every move is calculated and every word whispered has layers of meaning. And at the heart of it all is our protagonist Maomao, a girl with a knack for herbal remedies and a nose for trouble. Now let's talk about the period inspired by the Tang dynasty. The setting oozes with historical richness, from the elaborate costumes to the grand architecture of the Forbidden City. You can almost smell the incense wafting through the air as Maomao navigates the halls, her keen eyes taking in every detail. But it's not just the scenery that's steeped in history. The tangled web of relationships within the royal family mirrors the complexities of ancient dynasties. There's the emperor, wielding power like a double-edged sword, and the concubines, each competing for his favour and plotting their next move like players in a high-stakes game of chess. So if you're craving a taste of history with a dash of mystery and a pinch of political intrigue, look no further than the Apothecary Diaries. It's a feast for the senses and a journey into a world where the past comes alive in all its vibrant glory. Now I should mention that there is a burn-going romantic tension between Maomao and Jinchi, and here's why it works. They are both different to one another. Jinchi's extroverted personality complements Maomao's reserved and detached appearance. Having this contrast makes for an intriguing dynamic. It also pushes them to reveal their true self beneath the hidden mask, which are the most entertaining parts of the anime. Maomao is obviously reserved, sly, and profoundly sarcastic. Her tone is often quite relaxed and monotone in public. However, there are times she reveals her true self to Jinchi by making strange faces and getting overexcited at the thought of experimenting with various herbs. And then there is one particular scene that you'll miss in the blink of an eye, which shows how frightening Maomao can be. These scenes demonstrate a growing relationship in which the two feel more comfortable in each other's presence, while also inadvertently causing them to feel embarrassed about a trait they have so desperately tried to hide from everyone. Jinchi appears as confident, elegant, and charming, but Maomao already sees through his armor, labeling him as a shallow and irksome eunuch. Maomao's uninfused impression of Jinchi is what causes him to form a strong attachment towards her. He grows comfortable and believes he can be his true self, which causes Maomao to see her differently. This dynamic doesn't necessarily tie in romantically, though it does form a strong friendship containing many endearing and humorous moments. The romance itself is quite obvious in the sense that Jinchi is clearly not a eunuch. I've processed enough information about his background in these 24 episodes to know that he is clearly hiding his true identity. And there is no way he can be a eunuch, because how can everyone's fantasy of Maomao and Jinchi being a couple ever come true? And of course, how can a eunuch ever be handsome and charismatic? It's just not possible. For all the great things this show has to offer, a big flaw is its portrayal of eunuchs. Although I could still be wrong about Jinchi pretending to be a eunuch, the relationship would be far more unique and heartwarming if he was one. They obviously lack in sexual desire, but they can still care for a person deeply. And also, if he does reveal himself to not be a eunuch, it would make their relationship far less interesting, because of how blatant their quote-unquote romance has been established from the very beginning. Maomao's journey from being sold into slavery to navigating the intricate web of court politics in the imperial palace is not just a tale of historical intrigue. It's a story that resonates with themes of resilience and survival that are still relevant today. In the world of the Apothecary Diaries, kidnapping and human trafficking were unfortunately common occurrences, especially for those living on the fringes of society. For Maomao, being ripped away from her family and thrust into a life of servitude was a harsh reality that many people in history faced, and tragically is still a reality for many today. Even in modern times, we hear stories of individuals being trafficked and forced into labor or servitude against their will. Whether it's for economic exploitation, forced marriage, or other nefarious purposes, the experience of being trafficked strips away a person's autonomy and subjects them to unimaginable hardships. Yet, amidst the darkness of such circumstances, there are stories of resilience and strength, much like Maomao's. Despite the horrors she endured, she refused to be defined by her circumstances. Instead, she used her intellect and knowledge to navigate the dangerous waters of the court, ultimately carving out a place for herself in a world where power and intrigue reign supreme. In this sense, Maomao's story serves as a reminder of the enduring human spirit in the face of adversity. Her determination to reclaim her agency and forge her own path speaks to the universal desire for freedom and self-determination. So while the backdrop of the Apothecary Diaries may be a distant historical setting, the themes it explores of resilience, survival, and the quest for justice are as relevant today as they were in Maomao's time. Maomao's biological father, Lakan, and her mother, Fenxian, have a tragic backstory that sheds light on the harsh realities faced by individuals in their society, particularly women like Fenxian who are marginalized and exploited. Lakan's initial interactions with Fenxian, a skilled courtesan at Verdigre's house, reveal the complex dynamic between them. Despite expressing interest in redeeming Fenxian from her life as a courtesan, Lakan lacks the financial means to do so. Their relationship takes a turn when Lakan impregnates Fenxian, leading to a drastic decline in her social status and livelihood. Fenxian's tragic fate reflects the vulnerability of women in a society where their worth is often determined by their perceived purity and chastity. The societal pressures and expectations placed on women like Fenxian highlight the challenges they face in navigating a world dominated by patriarchal norms and power dynamics. As a courtesan, Fenxian is valued for her skills and beauty, yet ultimately treated as disposable when her status is tarnished by pregnancy out of wedlock. Meanwhile, Lakan's inability to provide for Fenxian and their child further exasperates their predicament. predicament. Despite his desire to redeem Fengshan, he is thwarted by his own circumstances and the constraints of his social position. His absence during Fengshan's pregnancy and Maomao's upbringings highlights the lack of work afforded to women and the limited avenues for help available to them in times of crisis. The tragic past of Maomao's biological parents serves as a sobering reminder of the inequalities and injustices inherent in their society. It underlines the precarious position of women, particularly those working in professions deemed immoral or taboo, and the enduring consequences of societal stigma and discrimination. The life of a courtesan like Fengshan epitomizes the struggles faced by women in society, where their worth is often tied to their adherence to patriarchal norms and expectations. Through Maomao's story, we gain insight into the resilience and determination of individuals who defy societal constraints and strive to carve out their own path despite the odds stacked against them. The Apothecary Diaries anime masterfully balances comedy and drama, seamlessly transitioning between light-hearted moments and poignant emotional moments. This delicate balance is achieved through careful pacing, well-crafted character interactions, and a keen understanding of tone. One of the key strengths of the anime lies in its diverse cast of characters, each with their own quirks and personalities. These characters often find themselves in amusing situations, whether it's Maomao's dry wit in the face of palace intrigue or the comical misunderstandings that arise between her and other inhabitants of the court. The anime skillfully uses humor to lighten the mood and provide moments of levity amidst the more serious themes of political intrigue and personal struggles. However, the Apothecary Diaries also knows when to dial back the humor and delve into deeper emotional territory. The anime isn't afraid to tackle complex themes such as loss, tragedy, and the consequences of one's actions. During these moments, the tone shifts seamlessly, drawing viewers into the characters' emotional journeys and allowing for more meaningful character development. What sets the anime apart is its ability to blend these comedic and dramatic elements in a way that feels natural and organic. This approach adds depth to the story and characters, ensuring that viewers are fully engaged throughout the anime's runtime. The anime has left a huge impression with its charming and earnest moments. The story and characters have left endless possibilities for family dysfunctions and political scheming. Who knows which direction the anime will head towards? But what we do know is that Maomao's story has just begun, so I can only wonder what type of incident she will get mixed up in next.